scratch and sniff.
A local gay couple says it's clear they were attacked because they were holding hands. Good evening. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn.
And I'm Deborah Knapp.
I'm not against it, but I don't like it in my face, to be honest. It does make me feel a little bit embarrassed.
Do you want the black gay men to stand up and to be brave and to go in public holding hands?
We've had looks. We've definitely had looks, haven't we?
We've had looks, and I saw a dad usher a child away from us. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that.
We have recently passed a law prohibiting propaganda, and not of homosexuality only, but of homosexuality and child abuse.
We're all united in saying, Russia, stop your homophobia!
If people would get used to seeing a guy-on-guy kiss and hold hands out in public and not just on no TV.
He did not approve of the couple kissing outside of his business.
First of all, we didn't kiss. We don't actually kiss in public. We were holding hands. But secondly, even if I did kiss my wife in public, what married couple would you go to and say, how dare you?
Because I would never do that. I cannot. I'm not holding your hand in public.
I'm like, get away from me. You don't want that attention.
Attention. And negative attention. Because it's not going to be, I mean, some might be like, oh, they're cute, but you know.
You know they ain't going to be doing
right,
like
but
that.
You got this moment.
A range of opinions about holding hands in public collected from news reports around the world, plus a reminder of recently made laws that endanger LGBT citizens abroad. I'm Nick Randall and you're listening to SNS Online, where Holding Hands for Equality, a brand new global campaign, is gaining momentum and has been created to combat homophobia, biphobia and transphobia around the world. Its supporters include noted LGBT activist and legend Peter Tatchell. With us today in the studio on the campaign trail is Holding Hands for Equality founder, Mr. Andy Cast. Welcome to the programme, Andy. Do you think this campaign has the ability to go viral?
I'm hoping so. I mean, I never thought that it could go viral, but the interest I've had since I just started sharing some of the thoughts has been humbling and quite staggering.
I remember when we were talking about it initially, when you were mooting this idea, and I could just see, like the blue touch paper and retire, as it were. So obviously this is a way to publicise it and talk about it, which we're more than happy to do. So initially, tell us about your life. How did you sort of get to this point, if you like?
Sure, okay. Well,
I mean, we haven't got hours, but we got a few minutes.
Well, like many men of my age, so I'm in my early 40s. I suppose when I was younger, I didn't realise exactly what I was. I had feelings, I had an attraction to other men, but I mean, I'd never met another gay person until...
Well, you didn't know.
Well, exactly. Someone that I knew was gay until I was about 19. I got married at 19.
Wow.
I met someone who I do love, still love very much. She showed an interest in me and wanting to be what I then perceived to be normal and to be the person my family and friends expected me to be. I rushed into a marriage. And for 7 years, we had a very happy marriage, but absolutely. There was just always something missing.
To get married at 19, I mean, that's a young age to get married. Whereabouts in the country were you brought up?
I was in rural Essex, so actually the county town of Essex was Chelmsford, where I was born, so not far from the heights of Romford,
right, okay.
but more out into the countryside. So at that time, there were no gay bars in the town. Oh, there wasn't a McDonald's until I was 18.
Right.
So
people usually got married at 12, didn't they? I mean, you were quite late, weren't you?
Yeah, I'm lucky I didn't marry a cousin.
Well, we better watch ourselves, what we say here. So marriage at 19, no children?
No, it was never the right time. Not to say that I didn't want children, but I think my ex-wife and I went through stages where at one point she was broody, but I wasn't. And then another point I was broody and her career was more important. And I mean, it's never the right time, is it, if you have to think about it? for many good reasons, I suppose, we never had children. It's one of my biggest regrets, but I'm very lucky that I do have 2 amazing stepchildren now.
Yes, fantastic. So I mean, how did we segue into these stepchildren? And presumably a significant other.
Yes. So my significant other is Paul, and
hello, Paul.
we met at work, and at the time we were both married. Whilst I realised things weren't quite right with my ex-wife at the point, I didn't realise really what was quite wrong.
Really? Were you not prepared to step back and just think, well, I'm gay?
I was in complete denial. Complete denial about it. It wasn't something that I wanted to be. And for many years after that, it wasn't something that I thought I could be. I mean, it horrifies me to think it now, but there were times when I considered if there was something that I could do, so is there was a therapy to stop being gay, or an injection I could have to stop being gay, or a pill, I would have taken it, which is horrifying now. But at the time, it was very real. And I think that's very real for a lot of gay men who were in the closet.
So were there any days when your denial was so much that you didn't think about being gay at all?
Oh, totally. Yes, absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing.
Many, many years, probably for the first 5-6 years of my marriage, I was more than happy in that denial.
Yeah.
More than happy being a straight man in a relationship with a woman.
So presumably you and Paul got closer, and it got to the point where something had to give.
Yes. I mean, before Paul and I got together, I realised that something was wrong. I had attraction. We hadn't even discussed it, but I was attracted to him. He was my best friend. I knew I was attracted to him. I knew that I had to get out of the relationship I was in.
And was he out gay?
No, he was also married, and also not prepared to accept what he was.
So really, you were very well matched.
Very well matched, although we didn't know it at the time. And it was still quite a few years until we talked about the attraction that we had. It got to the point where he'd left his wife because his marriage had broken down. He came and shared my flat with me, and it was then that we started to talk about the mutual attraction that we had. Unfortunately, because now I don't blame my ex-wife one bit, but she had a poor reaction to me telling her that I was attracted to men. Quite understandably. At the time, it devastated me because I did see her as my best friend, and I think I was naively looking for support, and for her to say, it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, I love you anyway. Because, as I said, I did love her. Understandably, quite understandably, she had a bad reaction. That meant that soon after we got divorced, I then thought, I don't want to be gay. I want to be what I perceive to be normal. And that horrible word normal, I mean, what does normal mean anyway? But I just wanted to be straight.
It certainly doesn't apply to me, and that's nothing to do with being gay. Just ask my Andy.
So I went straight into at least 2 further straight relationships. Trying to be straight.
Give it up, man. Sort it out.
So my attraction to Paul was in the distance, and but I wanted to be straight. I wanted to be in a relationship. He was with his wife and with his family, and I thought, I can't be with the man I love because he's there with his wife and family. I need to almost have that same. I can live this lie. But however much I tried, I couldn't live the lie.
So obviously your wife wasn't prepared to take you back, because if you were prepared to be straight again, you obviously didn't. She was obviously more wily than you were in at the time.
We never got to discuss that.
Okay.
It was more the point that I'd come out to her, I'd told her who I was, and the only way this would work for me to be straight would be to start a new relationship with someone who had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
So basically to put myself back in the closet as hard and far as back as I possibly could.
It was really time to shake your touche and sort something out. So what was the big, without going into too much detail, how did this change for you?
It was a big change at work. Where I'd moved to London.
Feather boas? No, I'm sorry, I'm being facetious.
Feather boas might have been interesting. But no, I moved to London, and I just thought, you know what, I need to change this.
London is good for that. Yeah.
London is good. I had come to the realization that I couldn't live a lie. I had to be authentic. I had to be me. I had to stopping the real me coming out. And that meant telling my friends, telling my family who and what I was.
And there was no counselling with other people, or had you just thought, right, I'm going to do this?
Yes. Yeah. There was no counselling. In some ways, I wish I had. I'd had some.
What age were you, if you don't mind me asking? Because obviously people are going to be relating this to their own lives.
So this would have been early 30s.
Early 30s, right.
Early 30s.
You did take a while to get there.
I took a very long while to get there, yes.
Well, that's all right. A lot of people do. I'm sure people listening today who are still might be in that situation. This is why it's great just to be able to talk about it and, have it available to whoever.
And then when Paul and I did finally get together, he'd left his wife. He came to share my flat, and things went the way they do. We talked about things, and then we decided to throw ourselves right in the deep end, and we opened up a coffee shop in the gay area of Bournemouth.
Oh, fantastic.
Right in the middle of the gay scene.
Right.
So talk about going from one extreme to the other.
Is this still going?
No.
Okay, right.
No. We did that for 2.5 years and then decided that that wasn't the path for us.
I know you both like coffee very much. I've heard the rumour. And pussycats as well. So yeah, I think we have that in common.
Scratch and Sniff. With Nick Randall.
So obviously you're now a happy, fluffy gay man, and you start to think, you know what, I want to write my thoughts down about my life and all the rest of it, because I become aware of your random musings, as you called it, your blog. I'm very impressed with your writing style and your thoughts you had to share. Was that a very cathartic process?
Oh, completely cathartic. It came about, I suppose, as I get older, I have lots of things that wind me up, that give me pause for thought, that I just need to get out. And that cathartic sharing, even if nobody ever reads them, it's a way of getting all of the jumbled thoughts out of my head and onto paper, and to try and make sense of what I'm thinking. You say I'm a happy gay man. I don't know if I am yet. And part of this Holding Hands campaign is to help me and other people like me feel more comfortable about being gay.
It's going to that very final line in Cucumber, am I happy to be a gay man? Which I think is what it boils down to. I mean, I've realised that I can be homophobic. I mean, I think we all can. We all can be everything. And we've had to unlearn a lot of stuff as you get older, I think, based on your background, I think.
Yes. And that internalised homophobia, it's not surprising that our society isn't built for gay people to be there in and accepted in the public eye. It's not built that way, and it hasn't been for some time. In the future it will be, and we are turning corners, but not quick enough.
I mean, certainly in this country, the amount of change we've had in such a relatively short time has been astonishing. I mean, obviously when I spoke to Peter Tatchell, he actually foresaw that it was going to take a lot longer than that to get to the point where marriage and all the rest of it. So he was very, very impressed. But obviously he also reminded me about what's going on around the world, and that's what we have to sort of watch out for. Looking here now, I'm just on the old pewter. In the UK, apparently it's about 100 LGBT hate crimes recorded each week by police. Now that's in this country where we're doing so much better than other places in the world. I clicked to Africa. We've got the jail the gays laws in Africa. It was kill the gays, but I think they scaled it down just a little bit because of international condemnation about that. We go to Russia, and the amount of human rights abuses going on there. India now are getting in on it. I mean, this is a huge part of the world deciding that we're not worthy of being on the streets or even living. I mean, the idea of being blindfolded and thrown off a building, just the most horrific thing I could possibly think of. This sparked such outrage in you that you decided to do something about it.
Yes, I mean, this all started for me in 2014, where I met some new friends who, I suppose, introduced me to the world of homophobia. Not in that kind of way, but they shared things on Facebook about stories about what was going on in the world. And I think I'd naively been hidden by my own issues. Everything that was going on for me was, I suppose, fully self-obsessing. And I hadn't looked outside my door and seen how lucky I was to be in this country.
Absolutely.
And it scared me from what I read. And that made me then think, do you know what, I need to do more. I can't just be one of these people who just sits back and watches this go on without a voice. I've never been a person who stood up for gay rights or gay equality. There have always been stronger people to do that for me. But you know what, that's not acceptable. All of us need to take a stand, because without us taking a stand and saying this isn't acceptable, people won't learn. I liken the struggle that gay and lesbian and transgender people have to the struggle that Martin Luther King fought.
Totally, absolutely, totally. But I remember saying that to somebody once years ago, another place I worked at, who was insulted that I could compare the two.
No. And that,
it's human rights, it's human rights, it's human rights.
Yes, and in many ways it's more difficult for gay people because we look just the same as straight people. Which I suppose meant that it's easier for us to have to hide away from it. And that's what Holding Hands is all about. Holding Hands for Equality is about we shouldn't have to hide. You know, if I want to walk down the street holding Paul's hand, I should be able to do that without either feeling bad myself, and that's part of the battle. I still do. I still feel uncomfortable. I think, who's watching? What are they going to do or say? Or how are they even going to feel? I don't want to upset people.
Yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it, that we worry? I mean, I feel exactly the same, you know, but I mean, this is how we've been conditioned.
Exactly. And there's obviously the other side of it, that if people see us holding hands, they might not like it and be homophobic towards us. I've been very lucky in my life in that I've only experienced very mild homophobia, name-calling. There are people who have much worse experiences. I mean, you just talked about statistic, 100 hate crimes a week. That is just...
Well, the ones that are reported.
Diabolical figures.
Absolutely.
And we need to change that. It's not acceptable.
Scratch and sniff.
You're listening to SNS Online with my special guest, Andy Cast, talking about the campaign he's spearheading, Holding Hands for Equality. Now, don't forget, if you've got any comments about this or any other show, why not join our Facebook page, SNS Online, or our Twitter feed, which is Scratch and Tweet. Past shows are available to be heard again by searching for SNS Online on SoundCloud or Mixcloud by searching for me, Nick Randall. And talking of past shows, LBGT campaigner Peter Tatchell and LBGT historian Michael Brown both feature in our recent archive. 2 programmes featuring 2 extraordinary people who time and time again deliberately place themselves in the firing line to help change occur in this country and beyond. So do check those out, as they're worth a listen. I get the impression, Andy, that your entire life has been in preparation for this campaign because you seem the perfect person, based on your own experiences, to really sing this out loud, as it were. Let's talk about Holding Hands for Equality, the nuts and bolts of it. Tell us exactly what the idea is.
I wrote an article for Elle magazine, and it was just called Holding Hands for Equality, and it came out of my thoughts about when I do walk down the street and I see a same-sex couple holding hands. My first thought is, oh, that's amazing. I love it's just so lovely to see it. And the second thought is for me to look around and see who's watching them, and oh my God, what are people thinking about that? And that's what the article was about. There was also some statistics that the more that gay people are seen by people who are potentially homophobic, the more acceptable things become. And that makes...
It's like TV characters in soaps, etc., etc. It's visibility.
The more visible we can be, the easier people will accept us. And that's what the article was all about. And I suppose I had this very simple, naive idea that actually let's take lots of pictures of people holding hands. And actually, it doesn't need to be gay people. It could be straight people. It could be old and young people. Anyone that you love. Let's make the visibility of holding hands acceptable, regardless of who you are, so that nobody takes a second look. Nobody thinks, oh, that's a bit odd. That's a bit strange. I don't like to see that. Well, if we make it so acceptable that everybody holds hands and that's normal, then that's where we need to be.
I think the beauty of this is its simplicity. I mean, I guess the only problem is it clear who the hands belong to? Are, two very butch bikers? Or
But do you know what? That doesn't really matter. I mean, it would be lovely if the pictures could be the two whole people, so you can see.
I don't think it needs to have any particular rule. I like the idea of pictures of hands, but obviously it will evolve beyond that.
It's a simple sign of human connection. I mean, we shake hands when we meet people. We hold hands when we are with people that we love. It's a simple sign of human connection, and anybody should feel comfortable enough to do it in a public place without fear of any action towards them, or even anybody looking and laughing, or even feeling uncomfortable by it. And that's what I want to get out there.
OK, Andy, before we get to the nuts and bolts of the campaign itself, it's time for Desert Island Risks, where you get a chance to choose a track, or possibly two, which might resonate professionally, personally, or just because it makes your feet tap, or all three. And obviously, in this case, we've got a campaign to sell.
So I've chosen Hold My Hand by Jess Glynn. The words...
Yeah, that makes sense.
the words of the song really do go well. It's... She's basically saying that she wants to hold the person's hand. She doesn't want to be alone. It's in my mind, I'm running around a cold and empty space. The words just rang so true for me. And also further down where she sings, I'm ready for this, there's no denying, I'm ready for this, you stop me falling. It just felt so appropriate for what I'm doing with this. I'm ready for this. I'm ready to take that jump. And however scared I feel, because I am scared, Nick, I am scared, I am ready, and it needs to happen.
Standing in a crowded room and I can't see your face. Put your arms around me, tell me everything's okay. In my mind I'm running around a cold and empty space. Just put your arms around me, tell me everything's okay. Break my bones, but you won't see me fall. Oh, the rising tide.
Jess Glynn there with Hold My Hand. Andy Carr's choice on SNS Online. So Andy, very appropriate song there. Quite an emotional connection with Holding Hands for Equality. Let's talk about D-Day for Holding Hands for Equality and where we're going with that, what you're hoping to do, Facebook pages, etc. Give us the works.
Okay, well, I felt that we should probably attach the campaign to something that's already out there, something successful. So International Day Against Homophobia, Biphobia and Transphobia is out there already, the 17th of May. It's an annual day celebrated across the world to put the message out that homophobia isn't acceptable. So on that day, it's my vision that we will flood all of the social networks with pictures of people holding hands with people they love, be they gay, straight, bi, trans, lesbian, whoever they are, mother, father, daughter, brother, sister, whoever they love, a picture of them holding hands. I mean, I want to get the hashtag holding hands trending so that people can see the amount of support that we have. But this isn't just about the LGBT movement. It's about equality for everybody, regardless of who you are.
What organisations do you have on your side to promote this? I mean, like Pink News, etc., etc.
Yeah, well, we will be doing press releases shortly, and we will be approaching all of the gay media and the straight media as well, because this is bigger than just our community.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I mean, internally, the IBM UK Eagle LGBT group have supported, and they are really running with this. They're doing it as an internal promotion and asking as many employees as they can to send in their photos, and then they're going to release that as a video on YouTube.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Absolutely staggering that people could take my idea and feel so enthused and positive about that message. And not only that, we've got a couple of universities involved, so the LGBT groups in universities. I'm approaching as many companies as I possibly can with networks. I'm also going to promote the idea with celebrities. So any straight allies or any gay, lesbian celebrities who are out there, I really want to get that message through. So I'm hoping that we will get tons of support. There is a Facebook page set up.
Okay, give us the details of that.
So the Facebook page is quite simply Hands for Equality. But that's with the number 4 rather than the letters.
Yeah.
The Twitter account is also Hands for Equality, exactly the same. We've got an Instagram account set up, which is Holding Hands for Equality.
Right.
We have a Google Plus account set up,
Wow.
which is Holding Hands for Equality.
Fantastic.
We have a website.
Oh, excellent. Well, that's great.
holdinghandsforequality.org.
And one more time?
holdinghandsforequality.org.
You heard it here first.
And people can contact me through that website at andy@holdinghandsforequality.org.
And obviously we will put all the details on our Facebook page and our Twitter as well. So obviously you've been promoting it with loads of organisations. You want to get celebrities on board. What about organisations, universities abroad? Universities in Africa, organisations in Africa, in India, in Russia. Have you been able to connect with any of those people, or are you hoping it will just more or less snowball into those areas?
Certainly with the support from the IBM UK Eagle LGBT community, we are going global. They've already started receiving photos from China, from Canada. They have so many countries on board that this is getting big. Obviously, that's from an internal perspective. What they are doing, though, is asking their employees to share this with families and friends who don't work for IBM. Hopefully that knock-on effect will just put it out there globally. I only have a certain influence, and I'm hitting my networks as hard as I can, and that's where I'm hoping that the celebrities will pick up on it.
I think if anything is going to trend, anything at all, this has to.
It would be a dream.
It would be a crime, and it would just be rather ridiculous if it didn't. I would find it very difficult. I'll be amazed if you hear the sound of tumbleweed, the crickets. That's usually for my show.
I will be doing a lot of crying, I think, if it does, because something that started as just an idea, a simple idea, and just a thought that I had.
It's a simple idea. It's full of good intentions and love and equality. It has to free fall. It has
message.
Yeah,
it's a positive message, which in today's world of negativity, How can it go wrong?
Absolutely. So one more time before we wrap up, let's just go through the details again. Your website first.
The website is holdinghandsforequality.org.
And Facebook?
Facebook is Hands for Equality with the number 4.
And Twitter?
Hands for Equality.
And we'll worry about the other ones later, but they're the main ones as far as I'm concerned. So I think, again, it's very appropriate to end on a song. You have picked one more track, haven't you? And I think I'm going to allow it because, bless you, this campaign deserves it. So what are we going to play out with?
Oh, that's really good of you, Nick. Thank you. So it's another very popular song out there in the charts at the moment called Heroes by Alesso. Thank you so much, Nick. I really appreciate the support.
We go hide away in daylight. We go undercover, wait up the sun. Got a secret side and play.